Welcome to all. I'm Vibhuti CP from KG Sumaya College. Here we are going to learn petrochemical and eco-friendly fuel. Here today we are going to learn what is fuel, their classification and some properties of good fuel. So let's start. First, what is fuel? Here, the fuel are naturally occurring or manufactured combustible organic substances which acts as a heat energy or as a raw material for the chemical industries. Here, the fuel can be defined in a different ways as any source of heat energy is called as a fuel. Any substances which by oxidation is made a source of heat for practical purpose is also called as a fuel, but most proper definition is the substances combustible substances which on burning in air produces a large amount of heat that can be used economically for a domestic and industrial purpose are called as a fuel. The examples are wood, coal, etc. But here the modern concept of fuel is it is now well established fact that it is not necessary for a fuel to undergo combustion or a oxidation. For example, the electrical energy when used as a source of heat is also called as a fuel. Okay, and also nuclear energy may also be used as a source of heat. That means according to the modern definition here is fuel is an any fusionable material which produces energy in a form of or in a form that can be used for producing a power. That means the fuel is any fusionable material which produces energy in a form that can be used for producing a power. The examples are electrical energy and nuclear energy. Okay, this is about the definitions of the fuel. The fuel, the any source of heat is, we can say it is a fuel, but most proper definition is the combustible substances which on burning in air produces a large amount of heat that can be used economically for domestic and industrial purpose. Examples are wood, coal, natural gases, gasoline, etc. But in according to the modern definition, fuel is any fusionable material which produces energy in a form that can be used for producing a power. Examples are electrical energy and the nuclear energy. Next, here we are going to learn the classification of a fuel. The fuel are classified into mainly two types. First, that is a primary or natural fuel, and the second one, that is synthetic fuel, or we can say it's secondary fuel, or also it is called as a artificial fuel. First, the primary or the natural fuel are classified into the three types. First, solid fuel, liquid fuel, second and third one is the gaseous fuel. The solid fuel having an example, that is a coal, wood, shale, peat, lignite, etc. The liquid fuel having example, natural gasoline, crude petroleum, etc. And the gaseous fuel which having example of a natural gases. Sidewise, the synthetic fuel or secondary fuel also classified into the three types: solid, liquid and gaseous. The solid fuel having example of charcoal, coke, petroleum coke, etc. The liquid which is having example petrol, kerosene, diesel oil, or coal tar, alcohol, gas oil, etc. And the gaseous fuel which having example of producer gas, water gas, coke, over gas, coal gas, oil gas, blast furnace, acetylene, hydrogen, or the LPG. These are the examples of what the gaseous fuel, which are the secondary type of the fuel, or the artificial fuel, which is made from the primary fuel. Next, let we learn that is the properties of a good fuel. It has a number of properties. Let we learn first high calorific value. Okay, high calorific value. The calorific value of a fuel is amount of heat produced by the complete combustion of a unit weight or volume of a fuel. The fuel which or fuel with high calorific value is a more useful. Fuel with high calorific value is called as a very useful fuel. Here, in case of solid or liquid fuel, the calorific value is usually expressed in BTU per pound or calorie, per pound or calorie. Okay, that means 1 calorie per gram is per gram, per gram. That is 1 calorie per gram is equal to 1.8 BTU per pound. BTU having a long form, British thermal unit. It is a British thermal unit. The solid fuel, the calorific value is expressed in BTU per pound or in KCU, that is kilogram centigrade unit per kilogram. Okay. Here, second, in case of gaseous fuel, the calorific value is expressed in solid. It is expressed like this, and in gaseous, it is expressed in BTU per cubic feet at 60 degree Fahrenheit. BTU per cubic feet at 60 degree Fahrenheit. For gaseous, BTU per cubic feet at 60 degree Fahrenheit. Okay, and 30-inch pressure of Hg. That means what here? The 1 kilocalorie per meter cube, 1 kilocalorie per meter cube, which is equal to 0.11 into BTU per feet cube. Okay, or 1 BTU per feet cube is equal to, or 1 BTU per feet cube is equal to 9.3 kilocalorie per meter cube. This is about a high calorific value. Next lecture we will learn how to calculate the calorific value. Okay. Next is what? The moderate ignition temperature. The temperature at which a solid, liquid or gaseous fuel catches fire and continue to burn without further heat is called as ignition temperature. Gaseous, liquid or solid fuel catches fire. It's called as a ignition temperature. It is also called as a ignition point. The value of ignition temperature decreases due to the presence of moisture and foreign material. If the ignition temperature of the fuel is low, it is easy to start fire, but it is dangerous for the storage and the transport. If the ignition temperature is high, then what happens? It is difficult to start fire, but it is easy for the storage and the transport. Therefore, an ideal fuel should have moderate ignition temperature. Okay. Next is what? The moderate velocity combustion. What is a moderate velocity combustion? The temperature attained by combustion in case of particular fuel depend on its velocity of combustion, its calorific value, and the space used for combustion. If the velocity of combustion is very low, then the required high temperature may not be possible because the part of heat liberated may get radiated instead of rising the temperature. Secondly, the velocity of combustion should not be very high. It must be moderate. Okay. Next is what? Here, the low percent of non-combustible matter. That means here the after combustion of a fuel, after combustion of fuel, the like ash or clinker remains behind, which also reduces the heating value of the fuel. The good fuel can have high calorific value only if it has low percent of the non-combustible matter. The products of the combustion. Here the gaseous product of combustion of a fuel should not pollute the atmosphere and should not be harmful or poisonous for the human life. Gases like carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, phosphine are some harmful gases which can be produced after the combustion of the fuel. Okay. Here next is what? It has easy to transport. Easy to transport. That means the good fuel is easy to handle, store, and solid and liquid fuel can be transported very easily from one place to the another. On the other hand, the transportation of the gaseous fuel is costly and can causes the fire hazards. They must have here they doesn't should not have the harmful product. That means we learn here they should not form the product like carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, etc., because they are very harmful. Okay. They also form a low ash content. They must be having a low ash content, and also they having a low moisture content, because if the moisture is high, then their calorific value is going to decreases and ignition temperature also decreases. Okay. And the fuel must be have a low cost. That is, fuel should be readily available in a bulk at low cost. The cost of the production, storage, and transport should be low. This is about the characteristics of the good fuel. First, calorific value, which is expressed in the unit, that is what? The BTU, that is British Thermal Unit. That means the calorific value in a solid case it is expressed in BTU per pound or calorie per kilogram, and if it is in gaseous or liquid state, that time which can be uh, expressed in BTU per cubic feet at 60 degree Fahrenheit. They must be have a moderate ignition temperature. If moderate ignition temperature is low, then it easy to start but dangerous for the storage. If the ignition temperature is high, it is difficult to start fire but easy for the storage. They must have low moisture content. If the moisture content is high, then the ignition temperature is going to decreases and their calorific value also decreases. They must have low ash content and moderate velocity of combustion. Okay. They must have moderate velocity of combustion. Next is what? They should not produce harmful product. That means the gaseous product of combustion of fuel should not pollute the atmosphere and should not be harmful or poisonous for the human life. The gases like carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, these are the very harmful gases. Next is what? the easy here they must also having a suitability, that means the fuel selected should not or should be must suitable for the process. For example, coke made out the bituminous coal is most suitable for the blast furnace, like this. They having a high calorific value, ignition temperature must be moderate, moisture content should be low, non combustible matter content and velocity combustion should be moderate. And here, that is the low cost, they must have a low cost. Low cost, that means the fuel should be readily available in a bulk at a low cost. The cost of production, storage and transport should be low. This is about the fuel, their classification and characteristics of the good fuel. Thank you very much for watching this lecture. Next time we learn the criteria for the selection of the good fuel. Okay, thank you very much.